Welcome to Travel Stories Unpacked, the travel podcast where we talk about all things from the silly to the serious and everywhere in between. I am Ashley, one of your hosts.
And I'm Annie, your other host. And I know this is a subject you've been wanting to ask me now for a while. And we were going to do this episode a few weeks ago, but I have a good excuse for why we didn't.
Yes, absolutely, which we are going to get into.
Before we do, I do want to give out a verbal graphic warning that this story does involve an incredibly messed up injury. So if you hear me describe it and you're feeling a little queasy, here's your warning.
Listener discretion is advised.
Yes. So, yeah, end of April, four of my really good friends and I, we went out west to Zion National Park. We flew into Vegas, which that's a really important thing to keep in mind for later on. Because when you go to Zion, you can fly into either Salt Lake City or the Las Vegas airport. And we went with Vegas because it was a shorter drive. So we land on a Tuesday and we get our rental car, which is a minivan, which I highly recommend, by the way, if you're traveling with any more than 4 people, like total, like a minivan was absolutely the way to go. But it was a minivan, and keep that in mind again, because that also plays in a very, very key element of my story later on. But it was amazing. Like, you know, me and these 4 friends of mine, we've all been friends for 10, 15 years at least.
So how did the trip come up?
Oh, it came up in the funniest way. So we went April. We started talking about this. I threw it out in the group chat in November because one of the girls, her sister works at a bar. She's a bartender at a bar I frequent. And I was up there one night and I just overheard these old guys like saying something really creepy about her behind her back. So I text my friend Nicole, who's the cousin. Did I say sister? They're cousins.
Okay.
And I was like, these guys are saying some real creepy stuff about your cousin, blah, blah, blah. And then that kind of turned into us like just complaining about life in general. And I was like, you know what? I think we could use a vacation.
Okay. So the idea came up first of just a getaway.
Just a getaway.
A little friends trip. All girls, you said. Mm-hmm. So what made you guys land on Zion?
It was my idea.
Okay, why?
But because I've been wanting to go out west to do it like a national park for a while. Okay. But we also talked about an all-inclusive in Mexico, which I was not crazy about.
Yeah, I'm so surprised.
Oh, I shot that down.
You didn't put that one in the chat.
No, I didn't even. I just like pretended I didn't see the text. Sorry, Carrie. And we talked about doing Banff, which I've done before, which was beautiful, but it was a bit of a hike to get to. Not so much for Megan, who lives in Seattle. So we're like, all right, let's try to pick somewhere we can kind of easily get to. Okay. And Zion just kind of checked all those. And we're all very like on vacation, like we like to be doing things.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like this was not a vacation though. This was
an experience.
Yeah.
This was travel.
This was travel, like in every sense of the word.
You had 4 people on the trip. One person was coming from 5.
Yeah.
So you plus 4.
Yeah.
So one person from Seattle, where the rest of you coming from the Ohio area? Okay.
Yeah. And it worked out perfectly. Like Megan's flight landed 10, 15 minutes after ours. Like it worked out perfectly. Like from day 1 to we'll say second to last day, everything we did was so organized. Cause there were some people in the group, like we had 2 moms and they were like, we don't want to make any decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, cool, sweet. Like Megan is a bit of an expert hiker. She's from Seattle. Her and her husband go mountaineering on the weekends, you know? So she's very like in tune with the hiking world. Like she has her satellite phone, she got her med kit, like she knows the things you should. Yeah, okay. So that worked out. And I kind of picked out a few items on the itinerary to do, like we really wanted to go ride some e-bikes through Zion, which by the way is 100% the way to do it. There's a free shuttle in the park that will take you from trailhead to trailhead, but usually it's packed and you gotta wait. But if you rent an e-bike, you're basically on your own time, and you can ride throughout the entire park. And there's certain things you can't see from the shuttle. So like we're riding these e-bikes starting at like 7 a.m. through these canyons and hills, and like it was just gorgeous.
Honestly, it sounds like a nightmare. So like an e-bike is like an electric bike?
Yeah, it has like pedal assist. So once you start pedaling, the motor kicks in, helps you like power up hills and stuff. And these things flew. Like I think top speed was like 25, 30 miles an hour.
Annie, did you know my passion against bicycling?
No.
So I have this condition called syncope, which causes me to just pass out. And one of the first times it ever happened, I was riding a bike and I just bit it. I mean, like wiped out. And ever since, and I was never even a big fan before that. But after that, I was like, I am good. Like you will never catch me on a bike ever.
Yeah,
ever
but with
again.
pedal assist, maybe you could have just kept going.
Just coast.
Yeah, just coast.
No, I'll walk. But But everybody in the group is down to do it.
Oh, yeah. Like, the time we went, no public cars were allowed, only the shuttles. So it's not like we had to look out for traffic. All the bus drivers were trained to watch for us to stop and then they'll pass us. Like, it was super safe. And I swear, like, if you were someone watching the 5 of us like ride by, we all probably just had the goofiest smiles on our face.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
Did you have your action cam like mounted?
Yeah, I had it mounted on my handlebars.
Okay, not like the head POV.
No, I didn't bring that one. Anyway, 100% recommend renting an e-bike for the day.
So let's go back to you flew into Vegas.
Yeah.
Did you actually spend any time in Vegas or did you just get out of there right away and head to your destination?
We basically landed, got our rental car and drove right there because we didn't really want to waste any time. We landed at noon and we knew by the time we got to our Airbnb that we would have to go grocery shopping and stuff.
Okay, so you did do an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Did everybody have their own room?
Yeah, actually.
I have to start with
out.
that question.
It actually worked out. My room had bunk beds and it had a really cool slide.
Shut up. Okay. Did you use the slide?
Of course. I went a whole like 2 inches on it, but yeah. Yeah, it was really cool.
Where did the slide go? Was it all just contained within the room or did it like go to another floor?
Oh no, it was just from the second bunk to the floor. It was pretty slick.
Yes, absolutely.
So the reason why we did that was because we knew at the end of the trip, we didn't want to rush the morning of to the airport all the way from Zion. So we were planning on spending the last night in Vegas, which we will get to in a second because that ended up being an adventure, not in the way that you think.
Okay. All right. I have a few more questions about the Airbnb.
Yeah.
Was everybody down to just do that right away? And does it make sense for that location? Because I'm a bit more team hotel, but it feels like maybe out there you might have better luck with like Airbnb accommodations.
So one thing I noticed, there was actually a lot of construction for not hotels. I didn't see a single like Hilton, like nothing. Yeah. It was all like lodges.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so for us it made sense because there was 5 of us. But out there, yeah, I mean, you don't really see a lot of chain like hotels. You don't see a lot of chain. It's gonna be
more like smaller lodges, smaller accommodations in general, probably not like huge high rises and stuff like that.
Right. But then like occasionally you'll see a house that's like perked on a hill in the middle of nowhere that's like a multi-million-dollar glass.
I can't imagine what it costs to
live
gosh. There.
We actually looked up the retail because when we pulled up to our house, there was a for sale sign out front and we were just curious how much it would go for. And we looked it up. It was going for like $800,000.
I'm surprised that low, but like, yeah.
It was nice. It had a pool and a hot tub, which neither worked, but that's besides the point.
No,
but
I'd be so mad. You know me though, like I'm in that pool.
I know. Megan was the only one that got in because there was like dead bugs in it and stuff. I'm like, I'm not getting in there. She goes, I've done worse.
Oh yeah. Because
remember, she's the mountaineer of the group. She's outdoorsy, very outdoorsy. But overall, I mean, that was besides the point. Like, it's been years since the 5 of us have been together in the same spot. Like we've done trips where there was like 4 of us, 3 of us, but not all of us together. And Meg and I've known since 8th grade. So it was just so much fun. We had a deck of cards, which I don't know about you, but when I'm being taught a new game and cards, my mind just glazes over. Like I struggled and they'll never let me live this down. Do you ever play 31?
Oh, it rings a bell.
Yeah, it's a game that involves like adding, but only if like it's like a certain suit or something. So even now I can't repeat the rules back to you. And it got to the point they were so mad at me for not understanding. Megan got like this close to my face, right? She goes, look at me. Same, add. No same. No ad. I'm like, what?
What?
And you know what? I ended up being second to last place, or I came in second anyway.
Oh my gosh.
But in my mind, it's like, it does not compute. Like, I know how to play probably 10 forms of poker, but you try to teach me something like 31. I'm like, my mind, I don't know why. It's in one ear, out the other.
Do you know how to play like euchre and like spades?
No. Like, I know rummy, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So, no, it was a great time. And the trails that Megan picked out for us, it was kind of funny. Day 1, we were going to do a trail called Watchman's Trail, which we ended up doing. That was supposed to be our warm-up trail.
Is this a walking trail or a biking trail?
Walking trail.
Both. Okay.
And it ended up being a little spicier than we anticipated because distance is one thing, elevation is another.
Spicy is in like more difficult?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I was like, where are we going with this? What'd you stumble across?
Yeah, no, it was difficult because, you know me, like, so you know what, you've traveled with me. You know I rarely take things on my phone. I usually take everything on my camera.
Yeah.
Well, I have my camera bag and my camera, my other camera.
You were traveling like how we traveled? Like when we're working?
Yeah. So
Dang.
I'm like hiking. I'm like, oh, man, I'm really struggling.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, no wonder your backpack weighs like 20 pounds.
Yeah, like Meredith Blake in The Parent Trap where they're just putting all the rocks in her bag, but you did it by choice.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that was supposed to be our warm-up hike, and it ended up being the only like strenuous one we did. And then, but it was
so
worth
funny.
it. It was absolutely worth
Yeah.
it. And the other one we did was Emerald Pools, which it was the wrong time of year. It was not what it looked like in the
Emerald
photos.
Pool's the place where you always, it's like very Instagrammable and people like kayak through the canyons and
No,
stuff?
I think you might be thinking of the Narrows.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, which we end up doing too, which that was a whole different experience.
Okay.
So to do the Narrows, you don't have to, but it's like 99% recommended. You can rent these waders. And they're not waterproof shoes, but they're like rubber shoes. Mm-hmm. And you're really hiking this canyon where the river runs through it. And at the deepest point at the water, it's a river, came up to your chest. And at one point I look over and the water's coming at you. And Felicia, one of the other girls, she's probably like 5'3", like not terribly short, but not super tall either. And you get a walking stick to help you because you're stepping on slippery rocks and stuff. I look over and she's like flailing and she's like, help. I'm like, I'm coming. Like she's getting washed away.
So this is probably like a dumb question, but like if the water gets that high, why are you walking and not swimming?
Because you'd be swimming against the current.
Okay.
And
so it's just easier to walk against the...
Which I don't know how people do it. Like they were walking with no effort. I was stumbling on every rock, I just could
Did
not...
you have like the right... Well, your shoes would have been covered by the waders that they gave you, right? So it wasn't like your gear was an issue.
No, and all I had was a tiny... I bought a backpack, a small one.
While you were there.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not taking this.
If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, I think you know Annie will go for any excuse to buy a good travel backpack.
This wasn't a want. It was a need.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'm like, how am I going to carry my Cliff Bars? Yeah, you know?
Sure.
So... Sure. I just could not get the technique down. And like, I was slipping on, I'm like, I can't believe you don't hear more people breaking rolling their ankles and stuff. Cause I took a bad fall, and banged my knee up pretty good on the way back.
Your knee?
My other knee, not that knee. My knees could never again on this kind of trip. More on that later. But that was really cool. But my favorite hike we did was probably the canyon overlook. It's like low effort, but amazing views. Zero safety measures in place. They really rely on you to not be a dumb tourist and like take a selfie on the cliffside. Okay. Because I think the closest we got to the cliff, I mean, again, there's no guardrails. You look over and it's a straight drop down, like easily 500-600 feet.
Man, in my old age, I can't do that. Like that never used to bother me. And then like a few years ago, it just started to hit where like if I just look over the ledge of something, that's really going to freak me out. And with no barrier at all, I think I would have gotten like vertigo or something. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah. Like, again, we had 2 moms in the group and they were like, just be careful.
Like literally I have no kids and that's still me. Like watching somebody in the ocean, that's 2D. Like, come back.
But no, it was honestly like the perfect dynamic. You know what I mean? Like one person drove, like Nicole volunteered to drive the whole time. Bless you, Nicole.
Literally, I wasn't even there, but bless you.
Yeah. Well, she rented the minivan, so.
Oh, her name, a little bit of control there.
Yeah. But it just worked out perfectly. And of course, we had our moments. We're all bickering at each other. There was.
You know, I gotta ask because if you listen to my girls trip episode before you joined as a co-host, you'll know that I've got feelings about traveling with a gaggle of girls. So was there drama?
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, but not like
we're like all still friends.
Yeah, it was just like bigger. You spend enough time with someone for that. But I know they'll watch this and yell at me if I don't talk about this. So again, I had my little action camera, right? Yeah. And I had it on a tripod. I already lost a selfie stick for it the first hike. So whatever, I still had a little tripod for it. And second to last day, we drove the opposite of Zion. We went to the Coral Pink Sand Dunes Park to go ATVing and sandboarding, which that was a ton of fun. Yeah. And Carrie, one of the other girls, wiped out so hard that her glasses flew off and her nose ring ripped out. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, I have it on video in high def. So we're having a great time, and somehow at some point I lost my camera, my handheld camera.
The one you like just bought. It's pretty
the
new,
one that
right?
I just bought, right? And I'm pissed. I'm like, oh my, and I didn't realize that until maybe half hour when we're on our way back to Zion. So we pull over, we tear the van apart, can't find it. We go back to where we got picked up to go ATVing, couldn't find it on the ground anywhere. So what should have been a 45-minute drive turned into easily a 2.5 hour thing. So at some point I just accepted. I'm like, it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where it could have gone. Like, I cannot for the life of me remember where I put it. So we're driving back and Nicole pulls over because we pull up on the sign that says like, welcome to Zion or whatever. And we got out to do a group photo and I went to go put my phone on the hood of the car. My camera was on the hood of the car.
And it stayed that whole time as you guys were driving back and forth?
It was between where the windshield meets the hood of the car, that little indent where the windshield wipers are.
Yeah.
And like, they were so mad at me. They're like, are you serious?
Although like you all had eyes, you were looking for it too.
I know, but it's like, God, it's like one of those things, like I never do that.
You do, like,
No,
you
like,
never leave stuff behind. You're very aware of where your equipment is.
But also
all the
like
time.
everyday life, like I'm not the kind of put a coffee cup on top of my car and drive off, you know what I mean? Like, and let alone a really expensive camera. And I don't know at what point when I put that down, but Megan was the one sitting on the sign and Felicia was taking a picture and Felicia got a picture of her right when I said, oh my God, I found it. And like Megan's face is just like disbelief. We got in the car, like Nicole and I are yelling at each other. Like,
oh my God.
But I mean, honestly, a few hours later and a couple of shots of tequila, we're laughing again.
For
you know
sure.
what I mean?
And I mean, like, like you said, like you just spend enough time with people, you're going to have like one little scuffle or one little like heated moment at minimum. Right?
I mean, Megan had a meltdown over her hairdryer breaking. So
she brought a hairdryer? She brought it going out to.
She's always had a thing with her hair.
Oh, it's just, okay.
Yeah, it's her thing. It takes her 45 minutes to dry her hair because she has really like long, thick hair. So when her hair dryer broke, it might as well have been the end of the world. But it's fine. We figured it. You know what I mean? It was all good.
I just would never think to bring like beauty care.
Oh no, I used to go
this sort of trip.
Yeah, I used to go camping with her family and in high school, and like her and her mom and her sister the same way. Like they bring a straightener, they bring
camping.
Yeah, they've always just all had a thing with their hair. But like I said, that's their thing. Whatever.
I mean, I should not judge if you're taking the time to make yourself look put together. Good for you.
Exactly.
But like,
exactly.
I could never.
But all in all, Zion was definitely one for the books. Like, I mean,
so where else have you been out west, or was that really your first time?
Like out west, like not Pacific Northwest, but nope, that was first time.
Okay, so what made you like choose Zion first?
I don't know. Like, I think it was just one of those, like, I kept singing it on my feed. Like,
you were influenced.
I know. I know.
But it paid off.
But it paid off. Like. It did.
Yeah.
Like, and if I were to go back again, I would skip Zion and go to like, just because I've done it already, not because I hated it. But I've always wanted to do like Valley of the Gods, Arches, Bryce Canyon. Like, I would do that again. We just happened to be there during a really busy week, which was Easter week, which turns out was like one of the busiest weeks.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Like on one trail, we could have passed easily 300-400 people.
Why do you think that is? Just time off?
No idea. Probably.
What types of other travelers were you seeing when you were at Zion?
All sorts. All different types of families from all over the world, all different ages. And like, that's a really cool thing about a place like visiting a national park. I feel like everyone's just inherently like a good person, you know?
Kind of.
Yeah. Like there were certain rules I wasn't aware of. Like Megan was explaining, like, you know, there are certain rules you're supposed to follow. Like if you're hiking, you let this person pass. If you're going up and they're going down, or the other way around, I don't remember. But
how great to have somebody that is like well versed in that sort of culture to be able to let you in.
It is. Like, it's like and it's just this unspoken rule, like leave no trace, like don't touch other people's stuff. And like,
that stuff makes sense to me. The like trail passing thing, I feel like I would just always get out of the way because that's like who I am.
If all else fails, just move.
Yeah, just. But then like if you're actually not supposed to, if you have like the quote unquote right of way, and like you're messing there definitely is up the flow. Like, it'd be great to know like that sort of protocol.
Yeah, I mean, we saw families out there with like newborn babies, like in a like a thing on their back. I'm like, that doesn't look safe.
Could never be me.
I know. And again, Felicia and Nicole, who are the moms of the group, I don't think Nicole really cared, but Felicia was like, oh my God, I would never do that. I would hope not, because one misstep and you're both goners.
I mean, I could think of a lot of people that would feel like really confident in something like that. And I'm not judging at all. I'm just saying the heat, the extra weight, like you will not find me being the one carrying another human being.
And like just the danger of it in general. Like it's not just falling off a cliff. You trip over a rock, you know what I mean? That baby's gone. We did meet this influencer family, and it's like, God.
Influencer family?
Like traveler family. I know, that's why I thought at first.
You
but
know
then,
how I feel about
I know,
that.
but it was like this guy, this woman and their kid, and they were so nice. I'm like, that's annoying when you meet people who are like super like nice and they're hot and like their kid's perfect.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh yeah, we just travel full time. I'm like, I
like hate you a little bit, but
good for you, I guess.
know at the same time, it's like, all right. I mean, like, is it a lot of jealousy? Probably, but it's like God really gave with both hands. You know what I mean?
Well, like I said, it's like it's not fair.
Yeah, leave something for the rest of us. But
I know plenty of hot people who are not nice.
Yeah, ain't that usually the way it goes?
Let's not talk about my dating life. So, yeah, so like I said, Zion, all in all, absolutely would recommend it, especially if you're going with a group. Like, it's just for safety issues, too. It's just good to have.
So I know you mentioned that you did the e-biking on the trails, you did the hiking, you did the ATV sand dune surfing thing. Any other, like, the water wading? That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Of all of those things, what is one that you would recommend to pretty much anybody?
The e-bikes.
Yeah,
for sure.
It seems like maybe the most accessible out of everything.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of places you can stop at to rent them before you enter the park. And the great thing is, too, normally you have to pay to get into the park, but Megan has a pass called America the Beautiful Pass that covered all of us. Oh. So we didn't have to pay to get into the park at all.
That's incredible.
Yeah, normally it's like, I think $20 a person. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's how much it is. But yeah, like her pass covered all of us. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah. And like usually with stuff like that, like I'm happy to pay the $20 because like I feel like I'm supporting the park. Yeah. But if you can save money, like yes, please.
Yeah, that was pretty clutch. Thanks, Megan.
So you mentioned that you guys went grocery shopping and stuff.
Yeah.
So did you do most of your cooking at your Airbnb or did you go out for meals?
I think we went out for a meal twice, one for breakfast and one for dinner. But most of the time we just ate at home because usually by the time we were done,
you were just exhausted.
We were exhausted. Yeah. Like, and it worked out. Like we planned it so well, all of our meals. I think by the time we left, we had like maybe like 2 Slim Jims left.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it worked out.
All right. So this is so random, but like I love those Airbnb host videos where they show you what people left behind after they leave.
No, we left nothing. We truly believed in leave no trace. We left not a lick of food behind.
Oh, good for you though.
Yeah, we planned it out really good.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you're going to travel out there, just be aware it's mostly like lodges, almost like condo style lodging. There's not going to be any nice hotels.
So for a group, you definitely felt like for you doing the Airbnb VRBO thing, like really worked.
Well, yeah, I had a bunk bed with a slide. Of course it worked out. I know if you guys are watching, the girls, you'd agree, minus a few, like, you know, we snapped at each other a little bit, but that's what happens. Like I said,
I do think it's a true testament to your friendship if you can just come out of that the other side and like, as the time passes those memories will be like the last things you think of when you think of the trip.
Oh no, we're still gonna bring it up. We're not that type. Like, remember that time
you never live it down.
Yeah, exactly. Like, remember that time you threw a hissy fit because your blow dryer broke or something?
Remember that time you made us drive around for 2 hours looking for the camera on the car?
So we had a white minivan, so we called her Vanna White. So
Annie does love to name things, and the name puns is very like.
So we're just like Vanna White. She pulled a fast one on us.
So did you guys choose a minivan, or did you just like need something for that size and they had a minivan available?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, it was between that or an SUV, and I think we just went with the minivan. And like I said, that was the right call.
Was it the type of minivan that has like the like DVD screens?
No, not that ancient. Goodness. But it did have the sliding doors and the stow and go. Because we stowed and we goed. And
So you said that the last day you wanted to actually spend time in Vegas.
This might come as a shocker, and a lot of people are surprised when I tell them I actually never been in Vegas. So that was my first time, and we did it just because from Zion to the airport, about 2 hours, and that's not accounting for traffic, and our flights were early, so we just didn't want to rush.
Yeah.
So we're like, yeah, worst case scenario, we go to Vegas, have a nice dinner somewhere. So we get to we also got an Airbnb, which this one was really nice too.
Were you like on the strip, or were you just trying to be maybe closer to the airport?
We were closer to the airport, but we were only still like 15, 20 minutes from the strip.
Oh, cool.
But a lot of my friends who I was with have been, so they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna take you to Fremont, then we'll go to the strip. You got to see the Bellagio water fountain.
Not your one friend who loves Vegas.
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I was like, I'm surprised she didn't make you guys do like 3 days.
I'm surprised we didn't like run into her in Austin. But I was like, all right, sweet. Like, so we dropped our stuff at the Airbnb, cleaned up a little bit, called an Uber, and we went to Fremont. And honestly, I didn't know what to expect, but I had a great time.
Yeah.
It was just
everybody loves Fremont Street.
Yeah.
Like,
but after like an hour, you're like kind of ready to move on, right?
Especially I feel for you, it could just be like a little much.
Yeah.
Like overstimulating in a way.
Yeah, but that kind of much, I like that. It was
all
fun.
or nothing, baby.
It's all or nothing for me. So we're getting ready to move on. I'm like, all right, sweet. Let's go to, I think we're headed to the strip, right? So there's 5 of us. So we have to call an Uber XL. So a minivan pulls up. And I'm getting in, and mind you, I am stone cold sober. I'm maybe on like my second beer of the day, and I'm climbing in. It's not the bench seats. It's like the captain seats.
Yeah.
And as I'm getting into the minivan, a car that I've been getting in and out of for the entire week, I trip over the cup holder. And I land knee first on the like the rods that the seats sit on, so you can move forward and backwards. And I didn't realize I was hurt really badly until 10 minutes into the ride. I was wearing black pants. I was like, why is my knee wet? And I'm like, and
I didn't notice.
I didn't
right
notice.
away?
No, I didn't notice right away. And I had a pack of tissues that I pulled out. I'm like, I thought maybe I spilled beer on myself, which not crazy to happen. But then I like dabbed my knee and I'm like, oh my God, I'm bleeding. And Nicole's sitting in the seat next to me. And I'm like, Nicole, I think I'm bleeding. I think I'm hurt. So I just like start pulling tissues out of my bag and like trying to like pad myself down.
You said you were wearing jeans or just black pants?
Black pants.
Okay, were you able to like roll them up and like investigate
skinny
the
jeans,
area?
man. I'm a victim of the 2000s. So, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is like really bad, you guys. Like, and at this point, I had no idea the extent of the injury.
So what was your pain level like at this time?
Well, none, clearly, because I didn't even realize I was hurt.
Even as you were dabbing it with once you were investigating the area.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it's because I think I have nerve damage, because even now as it's healing, I can't feel the front of my knee anymore. And this is not the knee I banged up in the Narrows. This is the other knee.
Oh, good. The good one.
The good one. That was, yeah.
Take them both out in one trip.
Now it's, I don't have good knees. I just have a bad one and a less bad one. So and the Uber driver like didn't know what to, he like offered me a Band-Aid, which was like really cute. I'm like, thanks.
I mean, in
retrospect, no one could have guessed how bad this injury was. So
what did you do? Did you just keep the Uber going to your destination?
Yeah, because we're almost there.
Okay.
So we get out and I run into the first hotel I see so I can use their lobby restroom. It's the Venetian. Like one of the nicest hotels.
And you're just like limping.
Yeah, one of the nicest hotels. I know. Well, they've got to be used to like all sorts of crazy people coming off the street, right?
Bet, yeah.
So here comes me like hobbling, and I'm like, there's blood on my shoes, like it's all over my hands.
Oh
and
my God.
Security follows me and my friends into the bathroom, and it was now the first time I pull my pants down, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, is it bad? I look down, I'm like, 4-inch gash on my knee. And let me just put it this way, I could see the inside of my knee. Like, if you've ever seen what like semi-cooked pork belly slices look like, this is what it looked like.
I'm laughing because I have a hard time.
I know.
This sort of thing.
Yeah, it was so bad.
So Annie comes back to work and she's like, well, I do have a photo if anybody wants to see it. And I don't usually get very like squeamish with that sort of thing. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just awkward about it. You know? So like I laugh as a defense mechanism. But then she sends the photo and I'm just like, huh.
Like you're confused at first at what you're looking at, right?
Like, okay, because it looks like a perfect like
almost as if I landed on a straight
potato
piece
peeler
of,
almost. You know what I mean? Like it looked like a perfect like I don't know. It wasn't as like torn or rugged. Like it just looked like somebody just
a perfect slice.
Yeah, like you can tell where that rod was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where the sliding mechanism just destroyed your knee.
Destroyed it,
so
dude.
You're in the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
You recognize the carnage.
I'm like,
do you know right away you need medical assistance?
Oh yeah. So Nicole's like, you need stitches. She like immediately looks up like nearest ER to me, like on Google Maps.
So the girls are on it.
Yeah. Call another Uber. I'm like, make sure I get the front seat. Like, don't put me in the back seat.
Then does the whole troop go with you?
So they all go with me
okay, that's solidarity.
Yeah, it is. Just because I think like they were in shock and I was in shock.
Yeah.
I was like laughing and then like crying, but then I started laughing again. Like I didn't know what to expect.
How long did you wait? Just wait like for your ride?
Not long.
Okay.
Because I think the security team were like, we have the medical staff coming. Like, because soon as blood is involved, you have to get like the health department. I'm like, don't call an ambulance. I got an Uber coming.
We're not paying for that.
Yeah,
we will wait on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I'll bleed on the sidewalk before I spend 20 grand on an ambulance.
Oh my goodness.
We get to the ER, short car ride, and they check me, and I was like, guys, like, I appreciate you coming, but like you sitting here is not going to help speed this up. I'd rather you go out and like go do your thing, and I'll let you know when I'm done, because I'm thinking I'll be here for at least an hour and a half. So they leave. And they go to P.F. Chang's, which I'm so mad about because, like, I love me some P.F. Chang's.
Oh, man.
So mad.
Talk about adding insult to injury.
Literally. Like, salt the MSG the wound. So I'm actually in and out in about 40 minutes. So, yeah, 16 stitches.
I mean, maybe like you said for Vegas, they were like, this is a bump and a scrape compared to some of the stuff.
Mind you, this is like 7 o'clock. The sun's still up. Like,
7 a.m. or p.m.?
PM.
Okay, I was like, wow, what a start to the day.
Yeah, no, it was 7 p.m. Sun was still up. So they came back and got me, and we just went home after that and called it a night. So Vegas was great for all about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? But we did see a show at the Sphere. So
what'd you see?
Postcards from Earth. It's basically like a sci-fi version of Planet Earth, and it's really, really cool. I recommend it.
That feels so you.
It was really amazing. I don't want to spoil it, but I will give you guys a warning if you do want to go see it. If you have any sort of motion sickness, it will absolutely trigger it.
Did anybody in your group have to deal with that?
Yeah, Megan she's always had bad motion sickness. She had to leave after like 5 minutes. And Carrie had the crazy glasses on. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, she said they worked. But yeah, if you have motion sickness, it will absolutely trigger it. So just be warned.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, that was our time in Vegas. We woke up the next day, went straight to the airport, and we're all in silence driving, right? Because it's like we're tired. It's the last day. We have a long day ahead of us of traveling. And I think like Nicole flips on the radio and that song Smooth Criminal comes on. You know, the lyrics like, Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? And we all just busted out laughing. And that was like the perfect end to that trip.
100%. Like, to me, when something like that happens, you can't help but just be like, okay, I get it. Like, you gotta laugh at it. You gotta like, just, sort of take that as a sign.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I think the reason why I was as calm as I was about is because I knew that I had travel insurance. And luckily, I worked with a travel agent who helped buy it for me or purchase it for me. And in my mind, I knew exactly what I was covered up to. And that's why I was like, okay, I'm not going to come home to a bill that's going to like, I literally lose an arm and a leg over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Kathy, thank you. You're a real one for suggesting the travel protection. Because in my mind, travel insurance is always like, oh, your trip got canceled. Here's money back.
Right. More insuring what you do.
Like monetary. Right? Yeah. I never really thought of it as like bodily injury.
Right. The health component.
Yeah. Yeah. Because in my 20s, when I was traveling way more, like I said, like, in your 20s, you're invincible. Like,
yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm happy that you made it back in one piece because that whole experience, like between almost injuring yourself here, wiping out here, cliffs over there.
Like, and like, I'm not usually like a klutzy person.
No, but then you got hurt doing the most innocuous thing.
Exactly.
Like of all the adventurous things you took on, you were getting into an Uber.
A minivan, no less.
That's what took you out.
That's what took me out. I got to come up with a better story of how it actually happened, because it's Vegas. Anybody would believe it.
The fun lies just to tell with the scar.
I think the one I'm going to go with is I got volunteered on stage at Cirque du Soleil and didn't stick the landing.
So I know a lot of people that do that. My favorite is when people buy it and you know the story and you're like with them as they're just, you know, spinning the yarn.
Yeah, they were looking for volunteers for the trapeze. And
no, I stopped a violent crime in the street.
Yeah.
And this is my battle wound because I'm a vigilante now.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know. I just got to come up with something better. But yeah, it wasn't hiking in the desert on cliffside, you know, 600 feet up that got me.
right. Going in against the rapids.
It was
canyon water hike.
Yep.
I don't even know what you called that.
It wasn't all that. It was a town and country.
All right. So, you know, my usual sort of wrap up questions when somebody shares this sort of story is, would you do it again?
Which part? The knee? No.
No, not the knee, but the general experience. I know you said probably maybe not going to Zion specifically so soon because there's so many other places out west you want to see.
Yeah. Well, the girls and I are now saying like we should do something like this like every other year.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we had a travel trip. Can we do a vacation trip next time?
What would that look like for you?
I mean, it doesn't matter. Majority rules, right?
Yeah, but no, I'm
assuming
curious.
they'll probably want to go like to an all-inclusive in the Caribbean somewhere, which like, I mean, I'd go for them, not so much the.
You'll go for the tequila.
Yeah.
If there's a nice air conditioning lounge, maybe.
Oh, speaking of shots, I did get an updated tetanus shot in Vegas, so that was good.
Good.
You're
protected.
I'm good for 10 years. I was coming up with my 10 years anyway, so.
All right, so you would definitely travel with this group again.
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I think it'd be different. It was like a group of people I didn't know as well. But like I said, we've all been friends for 10, 15 years. We all used to work together. So we've already seen each other at our worst,
Yeah.
you know, during a dinner rush in the middle of summer, like on Mother's Day or something. But it's just one of those groups of people that I would probably travel again with. And that's a lot for me to say because you know how much I love doing solo stuff.
Yeah.
But they're not people I get to see a lot. You know, we all kind of went in very different paths in life. Like some became moms, some moved out west. Like, you know, I mean, we all just kind of did our own thing. But that's what I love about them. It's like I said on the trip, like as we get older, I feel like we start to appreciate these like low maintenance friendships where you don't have to check in with them every day. Like Megan, I've known for 20 years. I talk to her maybe once a month.
Yeah.
You know, just to say hi.
Yeah.
So, but when we do talk, it's like you know, no time has passed.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all struggle with how do we nurture these relationships as our life changes. Like
you don't. You just tag each other in memes on Instagram, and that's your form of communication. And it's like the most messed up thing ever. And you're like, haha, you're right. So me.
This is right. This is so you.
It's like a house on fire.
All right. My last question. Is there anything that you learned either about yourself or about the destination that you want to share?
Any trip like this, you have to expect to be active. And I wish I would have trained a little bit better because like distance hiking, I love doing. But again, elevation is a totally different ballgame.
How would you even train for that?
Well, I started walking with like a 20-pound backpack. That didn't help me at all. But when you're going on an incline, it's tough. I think the first day altogether, we climbed like maybe 2,500 feet. Like that's a lot, like steep.
Yeah.
So I wish I would have trained better for it. We'll say that.
Okay. And I lied. I have one more question. Since you got a taste of Vegas, would you ever consider going back or really truly sort of like splitting it, right? If you went back out west, still doing that sort of airport thing and having a day there, is that something you would do again or try again, I guess?
I would attempt it. No, I wouldn't plan a trip around Vegas, but if it's, again, like where I'm flying into and I happen to have an extra day or two, then yeah. But I don't think, plan a whole trip around Vegas.
So you weren't necessarily heartbroken over not having your max amount of time in Vegas?
No.
Probably more concerned about the injury.
I had other things on my mind. Yeah.
Well, it sounds amazing. I gotta be honest, whenever I think about like vacation, like stuff like that is always very like low on my list. But anybody I've ever talked to that's experienced it always sings the highest praises of these sorts of things. And like, I'm outdoors-ish. You know what I mean? Like definitely more, I like to sit on a patio than I am like,
yeah, I mean, you have less chances
hiking.
of, you know, busting your knee open, getting 16 stitches on a patio.
Oh,
well, depending on what, well, depending on how happy hour went for you, I guess.
Yeah, let's not put that out there. Even sober, I like fall down my stairs. So it's like, but I will say the more I talk to people about it, the more I am intrigued about like this sort of vacation experience. So if you're out there listening and you've been to Zion or you've been other places out west that are a bit more action focused or, you know, nature focused, we'd love to hear your tips, your experiences and your stories. You can drop them in the comments. You can text us. If you're listening to the show on your favorite podcast platforms, you can go to the description and find a link that'll text us directly. And if you want to share a story in a bit more detail or maybe a bit more anonymously, you can email us at travelstoriesunpacked@gmail.com.
And Uber, if you're ever watching this, if you ever want to compensate me in somehow, that'd be cool.
Watch, they send you a bill for the blood cleanup.
Yeah. Like how they charge you if you like throw up.
Yeah.
Dang it. Never mind. I retract that. But yeah, what Ashley said, while you're at it, if you can give us 5-star rating, we'd love that. If you enjoy this story, I live to entertain, clearly. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for tuning in. This podcast is brought to you by KHM Travel Group, a leading host agency for independent travel agents. Head to khmtravel.com to learn more.